Hey Narwhals, and welcome back to some more weight loss stories. Only a small percentage of our viewers actually subscribe. It's free and you can always change your mind later, so please tap subscribe to join the original 100k Narwhals. How I lost 40 pounds and still eat junk food. Hey, so like the title says, I'm around 5'5", and I went from around 160 pounds to 120 and still losing. My relationship with food is a rocky one. I was a binger and an emotional eater. I would get sad about my weight, eat more, and then gain weight and fell into the cycle of getting bigger and bigger. I had so many self-esteem issues at that point that I always tried to wear the baggiest clothes so no one would look at me. I know I was never morbidly obese, but I was absolutely fat. Fat enough to get made fun of by others, including my own family. One day, I realized that I needed to stop what I was doing. My weight loss was fueled only by the spite. So I thought about all of the things that went wrong in the past and reworked my plan to not get burnt out. Here are some of the tips I've learned by doing that. 1. Slowly incorporate healthy foods into your diet. Do not immediately buy all this diet food and only eat that when you're just starting to lose weight. When you change the entire way you eat, it is so difficult to go from 0 to 100 unless you have the willpower of a god. You need to take it slow, so maybe instead of eating chips for a snack, maybe have some fruit instead. You can still eat whatever your normal diet is for now, but just get in the habit of introducing yourselves to these foods. Once you get used to doing that, you can try swapping fried chicken for grilled chicken when you make dinner. If you're a fan of fries or mac and cheese, eat it, but maybe try eating some kind of veggie with your dinner too, and so on and so forth. Work yourself up to a better diet. My point is, slow and steady wins the race. 2. You do not have to give up junk food. I know that sounds wild, but hear me out. If you take away the things that you love to eat, you're just going to crave them more and it might lead to binging. The only thing here is moderation. Do not say, oh, I've been so good at eating kind of healthy, I'm going to go buy some 4 No. 3s at McDonald's. Stuffing yourself with these foods will do you no favors. But does that mean you can never touch a quarter pounder again? Of course not. When I was losing weight, hot fries were my kryptonite. I could eat an entire bag of them and then some. Even if I was full, I would still eat them if you set more in front of me. Well, a bag of hot fries is almost 1,000 calories. I was eating almost my entire day's worth of calories with a snack that is nowhere close to being nutritional. But I also knew there was no way I was going to give up one of my favorite junk foods. So instead, every once in a while, I would have maybe just a handful just to curb that craving I was having. The moral here is to please enjoy your favorite foods. Just don't overdo it. Set a happy medium that you know is fair to yourself and that doesn't deprive you or go overboard. 3. Chew your food. Oh man, did it take me a while to figure this one out. I grew up in a military family where my dad would basically inhale his food out of habit. So as a kid, I just assumed you were supposed to eat your meals super quick. The way to do that is by not chewing your food enough and just swallowing huge mouthfuls of whatever you're having for dinner that night. One day, just try testing the difference of eating your food as you normally would versus chewing your food for a little while longer. You will be surprised at how much more food it feels like you are eating. Also, you're less likely to choke, which is a great bonus. 4. Eat slowly. As I mentioned in tip 3, I would eat my food as fast as possible and go out for more food until I felt stuffed and gross. When I realized that eating slowly makes you full faster, it was a game changer. If you are eating your meals like you're trying to win a hot dog contest, your brain can't keep up and cannot send the signal of, hey man, maybe that's enough. If you eat slower, it will give your brain that time to let you know when you've had enough. I went from clearing an entire plate of food at restaurants to eating maybe half of it before asking for a box. Plus, you get leftovers, so that's another night that you don't have to cook. 5. Drink water. And duh, I know this isn't what you want to hear, but water will make you feel so much better. I try to drink around 3 bottles a day, usually when I'm cooking dinner or sip on it at work when I can. This one is new for me too. I used to drink 3 to 5 diet sodas a day. My kidneys were probably screaming for help at that point. I started drinking water, and once I had my favorite soda again, a few days later, it tasted kind of gross. Would I still down one if I needed caffeine or I went out to eat? Of course. But now I see soda as more of a reward than a commodity. 6. Wait. Once you start to follow those tips above, you might be thinking, I did all these and I'm still starving. Wait around 20 minutes after you eat, and if you still feel hungry, go and get more food. Don't starve yourself, but don't immediately go back for more food because you think you need a second helping once your plate is cleared. Most of the time when I do this, I realize that I'm not even hungry anymore. You're not going to die if your stomach growls a few times before eating. If you're eating constantly, you're not going to starve to death. And try to think of if you're really hungry during that time or if it's something else. You could drink water in that time as well because it might also be your body asking for water. 7. Food is not your enemy. Food is your fuel that gets you out of bed and moving throughout the day. You shouldn't be scared of it or try to avoid it at all costs because you're afraid of eating too much if you get too close. Food is good. It tastes good and there are so many options out there to eat. So eat your favorite junk foods in moderation and eat healthy foods to give your body the energy it needs to keep you going. Reminder, you are allowed to love yourself as you are and still work towards becoming thinner or healthier. Do not reserve your happiness for a later date or later weight. Was just watching a YouTube video and heard this. I think someone might need this, so I wanted to put it out there. Dress for the body you have, not for the body you want. Because that body might take months or years to achieve, and you do not deserve to look and feel miserable until that happens. I absolutely agree with this. I personally can't hate the weight off my body. I have to love myself enough to take good care of me and feed myself nutritious foods and exercise my body to make it fit and healthy. I see so many posts on here that are despondent and full of self-hatred, and it makes me so sad for people who are suffering so much. Forgive yourself and forget regret. Make a good choice today to nourish yourself. Dress in a way that makes you feel good and comfortable about the body you have right now. Wear clothes that fit this body today. Yes, times 100. One day I had this random morbid thought. I could die tomorrow and never have the body that I'm striving for. I need to enjoy life in my body now. And I do. I'm more social, I wear shorts when it's hot, I take my kids to the beach or pool in a swimsuit, and I give zero frigs if anyone else is offended by my clothing or activity choice. 2 to 3 years ago, at the same weight, I wouldn't even be caught dead in shorts on the hottest day of the summer. Yeah, I'm one who needs to hear it. I've internalized a lot of self-loathing from my mother and her anti-fat attitude. It's not that she wants me to be healthy, because she criticizes complete strangers to me. I'm trying to address it in therapy, but being able to think something and knowing it in your soul are two different things. The biggest problem I have with the culture surrounding weight loss in the US is the idea that it begins with self-loathing, that you must hate yourself and be unhappy to an extent that it drives you to make necessary changes. To me, it's a clear extension of the casual prejudice displayed towards fat folk in general. You are not allowed to be fat and like yourself, and in order to be able to like yourself, you have to lose the weight. It allows for some pretty twisted thinking, and entire industries have been developed around preying upon people who fall into the trap. And that's freaked up. This is so true. My previous attempts to lose weight were always energized by self-hatred, and it made the process completely unbearable. Nothing is worse than doing everything correctly, working super hard to stick to your calorie goals for a month, only to see the fat body you hate so much reflected in the mirror, because it's not like you'll just lose 50 pounds after a month. This would in turn mess me up emotionally, so that I was constantly so full of hopelessness and despair that I would always end up returning to the terrible eating habits that got me into the state in the first place. Needless to say, this time I'm doing things differently. No more self-hatred or body shaming. I try really hard to appreciate my body and feel grateful for the things it can do, sometimes even better than some skinny people's bodies. As for the excess weight, that's not even my body's fault. It's my brain's, so there's no point pushing and hating my body for it. Nope, this time it's all about gratitude and love, filling every day with a resolve to do this out of care for my body and its long-term health. This is so refreshing and encouraging to me. I have tried and failed before by using negativity as my motivation, whether it be body negativity, depression, social pressure, anxiety, and self-loathing, and they never work long-term. Sure, some of them bought me a few months in a friendlier pant size, but if it's not positive, it won't be sustainable or functional. But giving myself permission to invest in myself has been a complete game changer. Suddenly, I enjoy my workouts, I'm grateful for the lifestyle changes I'm making, and they don't seem so insufferably difficult anymore. In fact, creating conditions to be happy is a common psychological issue. More often than not, people plan to be happy after a certain milestone: graduating, getting married, having kids, owning a house, losing weight, etc. 2 scenarios result from this. The first one, where the milestone is achieved and there's a very short-lived instant gratification, followed by a miserable emptiness or postponement to a new milestone. With people losing a lot of weight, it becomes getting new clothes or surgery to correct extra skin or other issues. It's a trap. The consequences of thinking this way is that it becomes super easy to justify current misery or discontentment. You might think you are just pushing yourself harder towards your goal, but it's much easier to change during good times than during bad times. Reaching rock bottom is traumatic. It might lead to change, but it's not a sound strategy, nor healthy. Be happy as you change, not after. The reward should be working towards change and not the results from it. This means that you can always strive for improvement, as that is the reward itself. And did you have a good discipline for today? Pat yourself on the back and feel good about it. Future days will be easier if you do it today. Also, don't apply the reverse. Don't punish yourself for having a bad day. Just keep trying again the next day. And that brings us to the end, Narwhals. And please tap subscribe to join the original 100k Narwhals. And lastly, here's our featured Narwhal of the day. 90 pounds down, starting weight 235, current weight 145, and goal weight 125.